Welcome to Walk in the Way. This is Renovation of the Heart Book Club. We're in Chapter 4. We're on question 3, which is, why can I not be Jesus' disciple if I do not take up my cross and follow him? I guess we'll just dive in. The quote that stood out to me from this section, which is, so in the section called Taking the Cross, on page 63, in the middle of that first paragraph, it says, those who are not genuinely convinced that the only real bargain in life is surrendering ourselves to Jesus and his cause, abandoning all that we love to him and for him, cannot learn the other lessons that Jesus has to teach us. Lately, I've been contemplating a lot what it means to be unified with Christ, and the thing that has stood out to me about that is that that's not just an abstraction. That's not an idea to adhere to or affirm intellectually. That is a thing that can be done in real life, and that it is done by doing the things that he did. Preeminently, the thing that Christ did was die on the cross. And so to assume that we could supersede his path to having his glory increased by being resurrected without doing the things that he did is, I guess it's pride, really, it's arrogance. And he specifically warns against that, sayings like, the student can't exceed the master. Whatever happened to me, that is going to happen to you. You're going to have trials and tribulations. They hated you because they hated me first. So, practically speaking, that is the unifying act that we can participate in the here and now, is death, is the taking up of crosses, is the crucifying of that which is already dead, and just leaving it where it belongs, rather than trying to carry it forward into glory where it doesn't belong and can't exist.
I think in that same vein, the quote I picked out from his text was, "But to step with Jesus into the path of self-denial immediately breaks the ironclad grip of sin over human personality and opens the way to a fuller and ever fuller restoration of radical goodness to the soul." And like, what that says to me is that discipleship is participation and not just belief.
Yeah, and it's not just a particular series of acts that we intellectually affirm as being good.
Right.
It is a transformative process that should be progressive. And that's one of the ways that you can tell, am I growing? Like, is this process actually working? Is that those things that used to be burdensome, that are good and right and just and productive of peace, that bring joy to yourself and to other people, even if they're hard, become restorative. Like, you feel there's a sense of restoration that accompanies them, even if you dislike what's happening. And that is a very unusual thing. That does not make sense on the terms of this world and its systems.
Oh, right, because to follow Jesus without a cross is to follow an idea.
Yeah, and ideas have no power in and of themselves.
That's what a lot of the world follows, is just ideas. Like, we follow philosophies, we follow nice sayings, we follow all the
values.
Exactly, right. But with a cross, we're, like you said, dying two different things of this world.
Yeah, and those ideas find their fulfillment in having taken up that cross. So you can't pursue any of those things directly and actually attain them. Everything must be done, can only be done through the way of Christ.
Right. So the cross is where the real transformation begins.
Yes, and is sustained even. There's this image that's been playing in my head of as you get smaller in your own estimation, you actually grow. Think imagery like I must decrease and he must increase. And also like Lewis's imagery from The Great Divorce, where like when they ride the bus out of hell, it looks like they're coming out of cliff. And later on in the story, Lewis is talking to his spiritual mentor, George MacDonald, and he's like, "So where's the cliff?" And MacDonald laughs and points at the ground and says, "Go look at the grass. See that crack in the mud? That's where you came from."
Well, in some denominations too, like the cross is seen as such a horrible image and not venerated, not honored. It's actually a life-giving to pursue death to things not of you, and like Willard saying is that self-denial is actually life-giving, and it's transformative in the sense that you're transfigured into the image of Christ through that.
Yeah, and like the curious thing, and this is a general feature of all of the Christian religion, is that in denying the present earthly self, we affirm the heavenly self that Christ intends for us. So it's actually not a denial of the real that God intends for us. It's actually to agree with him about what that is and to pursue it with him co-creatively, which is a totally different calculus from this is just going to suck and I'm going to hate trying harder and harder for the rest of my life to not be who I think I really am. Instead, it is a very present and real reward that you get to become the person that you were always intended to be, rather than trying to suffer through a system that hates you.
Fully. Being fully human and fully embodying that image exactly.
Yeah, and like that is humanity is glorious. It was created in God's image to somehow increase infinite glory. And like that's our fate, is to get to do that forever. And
maybe one more quote out of that Willard puts into this chapter, I think that summarizes as perfectly is, and Peter calls us to follow Jesus, not returning evil for evil or insult for insult, but giving a blessing instead. For you were called for the very purpose that you might inherit a blessing. 1 Peter 3:9.
That dog will hunt. That's way better than trying to do more better. So I guess to wrap up quickly, an application piece. I think we may have done this before, but it bears repeating. Spend some time imagining the heavenly self that God intends for you to become. Join him creatively in casting that, like receive that vision and cast it for yourself. And not only do so, but in the hope and confidence that it will be real someday. And you can enjoy the benefits of that reality now. With that, we'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching today's episode of Walk in the Way Book Club. Please like, comment, and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. We can't wait to see you in the next one. God bless.